Hi, I'm Maja, and this is the channel Bookworm Dreams. Today, I'm going to give you a HRCYED update. HRCYED, or the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do, is a year-long reading challenge created by Stephanie from QWordy. I will leave the link to her channel and the announcement video down below in the description box. This is a challenge that has a bingo board of 25 prompts, and each prompt is a challenge of its own. That's why the whole thing is called the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do. This challenge started in July, and this will be the second update I'm filming, so you can check out the first one somewhere over there. Let's go to the spreadsheet. So this is the cover page of the spreadsheet, and here is the bingo board of the challenge. Since the last update, I have finished 2 more prompts. I've finished all the adaptations and complete any readathon. So here are some of the stats. So far, I have read 44 books for this challenge. And here is the tracker. Basically, you write everything that you need for the challenge in this tracker. It's the points calculator. And let's go through the prompts. So for the hundreds, so in this prompt, you have to read books that have a certain number of pages. So from the last update, I've added The Shadow of What Was Lost and Ruin. So The Shadow of What Was Lost was around almost 700 pages and Ruin was, I think, 800. Then this is a prompt I finished in the first months of the challenge, so you can check update number 1 for that. In the subgenres of choice, I have added 2 books in this. So I've added Ruin by John Gwynne for high epic or high fantasy, and I added J. Butcher's Long Past Dues for urban fantasy. Next, we have a series staircase. So my progress is that I finished a duology. So I read The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent, and I finished a duology. And I also read Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson, which is a fantasy standalone. Really, really loved Warbreaker. The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King was fine. I did nothing for the award season. So the TBR game challenge I finished in August, so you can learn more about it in my first update. For the last 10 years, I did nothing. All the adaptations. So I think I talked about this in my first update because I had to change something at the last second because I messed up the graphic novel comic thing. And I think I talked about it in the first update, so go check it out. But anyway, I finished this prompt and I'm really, really glad. Disability challenge. I read nothing then from the previous update. I had to work on that. Heritage months. So here I added 3 books. So I read Our Shadows Have Claws for the Hispanic Heritage. This is a collection of 15 monster stories by Latin American authors. For Arab Heritage, I read The Weavers of Alamaxa by Hadir Elsbai. And for Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage, I read Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wong, which is a fantasy standalone that I really, really loved. For the translation challenge, I read The Rainfall Market by Yu Young Gwang. It's a Korean author, and in this book we follow a woman who is unhappy with her life, and she gets an opportunity to change it by visiting the rainfall market. For Around the World, I added Our Shadows Have Claws for South America. For the Even Bigger Rainbow, I think the only updates are these 2 books. So for Silver and Gold, I put The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent. And for the 7+ Colors of Monsters and Mainframes by Barbara Truelove, which is a very cool sci-fi book in which we have 2 AIs in a ship arguing, and the ship basically becoming a ghost ship, and just Dracula taking an interest and coming and messing things up for them. And you also meet other different monsters and stuff. So for Read Through a Beloved Quote, I did book 1. So my quote is In the Darkness There Be Dragons. And I read To Be Taught If Fortunate by Becky Chambers for this. That book is a cozy sci-fi in which we follow a woman who is writing notes about her team's exploration in deep space. Then for Spooky Creatures. So I tried to finish this prompt in October. And as you can see, I have 1 book left. So what did I add? So I added For the Shifter, A River in the Dark by Igor Rendic. This is book 3 in an urban fantasy, and this is the end of the trilogy, in which we follow Paul. Paul comes back to Rijeka in Croatia from the United States after his grandmother dies, and basically discovers that his grandmother was a Krsnik. Krsnik is a supernatural protector of a certain area. So he inherits the Krsnik abilities, and so throughout the series, we follow him as he is coming into his power, creating a found family around him. He surrounds himself with different characters who have different magical abilities and such, and together they patrol and deal with various bad guys. For magic user, I put James J. Butcher's Long Past Use. Grimsby is a magic user. He can use magic. A little bit of it, but he can. For Fae folk, I put Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands. This is book 2 in the Emily Wilde's series. For Spirit, I put Hellbent by Lee Bardugo. In Hellbent, we follow Alex Stern. She gets the opportunity to go to Yale. The only reason she gets that because she can see ghosts. I talked about the zombie and other creature books in the first update, and I just have Merfolk left, and I'm hoping to get to that in November so that, I can finish this prompt. For Become the Avatar, I did nothing. For the Readathon Challenge, yes, I participated in the Aurelium Autumn Equinox, and I read 7 books for that. So The Inheritance by Lorna Andrews, Monsters and Mainframes by Barbara Truelove, Feybound by Sarah El Arifi, The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig, All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata, The Rainfall Market, and To Be Taught If Fortunate. I finished it. Great. Finished the prompt. For Animals, nothing changed since the last update. For the Queer Alphabet, I added book Feybound by Sarah El Arifi for the lesbian part of the Queer Alphabet, because the main character has 2 relationships with women in this book. The favorite Her Kit prompt I talked about in the first update. I did nothing for the BIPOC challenge, but I will be reading books for that in November. New releases. All right, so since last time I read A Love Most Brutal by Kath Richards for September. This is a mafia romance in which we follow a mafia family where women are in charge. So in the first book, A Love Most Fatal, we follow the mafia boss, and her love interest is a math teacher. And in the second one, we follow the mafia enforcer who has a marriage of convenience with another mafia boss. And for October, I read Ali Hazelwood's Mate, which is a sequel to Bride, paranormal romance. So my Challenge Yourself challenge is to finish the Reddit Fantasy Bingo challenge. So for the last couple of years, I haven't been very successful, but this year I'm working on it, really focusing. So since last time, I read Blood over Brighthaven, then The Weavers of Alamaxa, A River in the Dark, Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands. Posljednja kuća u Šenojnoj ulici is a collection of horror short stories that deal with some kind of haunted house. In one of them, there was a haunted castle, and there's apartments that are scary and creepy and stuff. So yeah, like that, and Warbreaker. Nothing changed for the nonfiction challenge. And Q's reviews and recs, I read A Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig, and that's it. So I'm doing okay overall. I hoped to be further along, but there's still time to work on it, so no worries. If you're participating in Her Kit, please let me know down below in the comments so I can check out your channels and check out your updates to see how you're doing. If you want to share your thoughts on any of the books that I've mentioned, please do so down below. And if you don't want to say anything, leave me an emoji of a book. Please like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye!